all the different elements. Setting up the claim, identifying the HO, the HA. Finding which tail test this is, right tail, left tail, two tail. We talked about a little bit about a p-value, testing against a p-value. We looked at the table at the rejecting and how we're going to state our decision. So to tie this up together, we're going to be following this no matter what we do. And I put this in your notes. Again, we're going to state your claim, and then you're going to tell me which one is the HO. The HO contains the equal sign. The HA has no equal sign. The HA does the tail. Whatever tail this is your tail test. They're going to tell us the level of significance. This is the smallest allowable error. This is the smallest allowable type 1 error. Okay? And they're going to give it to us, just like they gave us the confidence interval of, say, 95%. The flip side of it is the level of significance at 5%. We're going to determine the sampling distribution, whatever we need to do, a z-score, proportion, whatever it is we're looking at, and sketch the graph. We're going to calculate your test statistic. We're going to find the p-value. Your p-value is the area under your curve. What does P stand for? Probability. Good. Probability value is the area under your curve. Then we're going to use the following decisions. If we're testing for, see if I can fit this in one. Okay, good. If we're testing using a p-value, we're going to test the p-val against the level of significance. If your p-val is less than or equal to your level of significance, you're going to reject your HO. It's smaller than the smallest allowable error. You can't be any smaller than that, so you're going to reject your HO. If it's greater than, then you're going to fail to reject the HO. Notice that we always say these two statements. You really won't catch it until we do a problem, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense to you now until we actually do a problem for this. But let's take one of their little. All right, so take a look at right on top of 357. It says perform a hypothesis test for the claim. How would you interpret if you reject, if you fail to reject? Here's your claim. Look at the top of 357. A realtor publicizes that the proportion of homeowners who feel their house is too small for their family is more than 24%. Proportion parameter P. So here's your claim. How do I write the claim? Just give me what is it? P what? P is greater than 0.24. They feel, many homeowners feel, 24% of all homeowners feel, more than 20%, feel that their house is too small for their family. This was the claim. HA. What's the HO? Less than or equal to 0.24. Now, here's what we do. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make a tail test. Which tail test is this? A right tail test. It follows the HA. Good. And on Monday, we're going to label this like this. This wide open space is going to say, fail to reject H0.
What's Monday?
That's when we're going to actually start doing these things. The shaded area, rejects H0. Now, we're going to do this in two ways. It's a standard normal curve, so we're going to use that 0.05 and find a z-score that would be a cutoff.
Does that say in the thing?
Fail to reject H0 and reject H0. Those are the only two things we were allowed to set. Because we're only really testing for a type 1 error. And do you think back to that? Remember the type 1 error said if you say reject H0 and it was true? You know, and if you failed to reject and it was false, remember that? You were just in the type 1 error category. We don't test the type 2. We only do the alpha errors. when we get here, we have two ways to test. One way is this area when we find your z-score. We find the z-score cutoff, then we find your test statistic. And we test the test statistic to see, does it fall in here or does it fall in here? And we reject or we fail to reject accordingly. Another way we do this is with a p-val. The value in the area under the curve here. And we test the p-val against the level of significance. The results are the same because it's going to be the same number, only looking at it two ways. Either we look at a z-score or we look at its area. It's the same piece of information. From that, we're going to make a decision. We're going to say, fail to reject your decision. You're going to say, fail to reject H0 or reject H0. After that, we're going to go to that table. We're going to follow your claim down. We're going to follow the claim, and we're going to say, if the claim is the HA, and we fail to reject the HO, we're going to say, then we don't have enough evidence to support the claim that, and you'll see this happen. You'll see this as we do this. I said this unit would be very hard to walk through because we're learning all the parts of it. It's like going through a machine and saying, well, this part sends the paper through. This part cuts it up. This part folds it together. This part staples it. But yeah, but you didn't see the whole process work together yet. So once we work this whole process, it'll actually make sense. Okay? And I know, I told you, we're kind of working out like all the little pieces to it. One of the most important things is how you set your claim up. I'm going to make the charts to put around the room. When we use HA, when your claim is HA, we support or not support. We use the word support. When your claim is HO, the no, we use the word reject or fail to reject. So if I'm going to make a claim and you want to support my claim, I say that 85% of all high school students go to college, and you want to support this. You're going to look up information because you agree with this. You think at least 85%. Let's say at least 85%. You say, yeah, I think it's at least 85%. I'm going to support your claim. I'm going to do my research to support you. So I have to make my claim be where you can say, I support your claim. I want it to be the HA, no equal sign, more than. If you want to reject my claim, you want to say, I disagree with you, then you're going to maybe add the greater than or equal to, or the less than or equal to. It's going to have an equal to sign in there. And then you're going to work against this. Maybe it says greater than or equal to. You don't agree with that. You know it's far less than that. So you want to be able to say, I reject that claim. I reject your HO. So if you want to support, the claim has to be the HA. If you want to reject, the claim has to be the HO, the no. Let's take a look at an example and see if we can work through this. A medical research team is investigating the benefits of a new surgical treatment. One of the claims is that the mean recovery time for patients after the new treatment is about 96 hours. But hang on, read the rest. How would you write the no and the alternative if you are on the research team and you want to make a statement that someone can support your claim? So we can't have an equals in this because we got to have something without an equal. Oh, okay, so why do you think it says less than 96?
It's about.
You want to make an HA because you need to use the same support. It's about. Now, think of this. You are the research team. You're the medical research team. Think about what this means. If I say it's greater than 96 hours recovery, is that good? For recovery from an operation, from a medical procedure? No. So if I say it's about, do I want people thinking it's going to be more than?
No.
I want people thinking it's going to be less than. So I, as a person on the team, I'm going to say it's going to be less than, still about, but I'm going to say less than 96 hours. I don't want you thinking this is a longer recovery. You'll never agree with me. So now, when someone does research to this, they support that conclusion. If you look at their, if you kind of look, they give us a reason why, but this is your reason why. Here's what they say. To answer the question, you first think about the context of the claim. Because you want to support this claim, you have to make it your HA. So that the mean recovery is less than. Its complement would be greater than or equal to. Now, I want this to be so I don't want to use the greater than sign. Because you wouldn't like to be recovering for more than 96 hours. So I'm either going to be able to use a greater than, a not equal, or a less than. A not equal, you really don't want to have to use either because it's either going to be that or not be that. So it's really not, if you tell somebody it's not 96 hours, they're going to say, then what is it? What am I supporting here? You know? So it could be more, it could be less. But as the research team, you want to say it's less than 96 hours. Now, say you're on the opposing team and you want to reject this claim. Here's this mean about 96 hours. I've got to have an HO because I need to use the word reject. Same type of situation, but I need to reject this. What inequality statement should I make this?
Greater than or equal to.
Well, I probably wouldn't want a greater than or equal to, because I want to reject what they're claiming. I want to show that it's not less than. But if they make a greater than statement, I'm going to agree with them. I'm not going to reject their statement.
So not equal.
I got to have an equal sign in here. Something about an equal sign.
So greater than equal to?
So let's look. There's two choices. A less than or equal to, a greater than or equal to. The medical research team is still making this statement. I want to oppose this statement. I'm on the opposing team. I don't like their procedure. I think it's going to take too long. But they're making the statement that I want to reject. So what would be the statement that I would want to reject? That it's more than 96 hours? No, I would want to reject that it's less than 96 hours, but it has to have the equal sign in it for me to use the word reject. So the medical team is going to make this statement, and I'm going to reject their claim. I don't think it's less than 96. I'm the opposing team. I think it takes longer than 96 hours for their recovery process. So the only way I can say reject is with an equal sign. If I keep it as less than, I could just say I do not support this claim. That's another way you could say it if you want to use the support word.
So is that a no? Or the alternate?
HO always has the equal sign.
No, no. You didn't write HO reject. Oh.
No, HO. Because you want to use the word reject, you have to use an HO. It depends what team you're on. It depends what side of the coin you look at this. Okay, if someone says, think of something that pertains to you. Okay, if you go to college, you will earn more than, your mean will be more than $40,000 in your first year. If you go to 4 years of college, when you come out and you get a job, you will earn more than $40,000. Okay, who am I to make that claim? Who do you think I would be that would make a claim like that? Who would make a statement? If you go to college, you're going to come out and make more than $40,000 a year. The dean of schools, the colleges. I'm ahead of the college board. I'm ahead of the college board. If you go to college, you are going to make more than $40,000. You agree with me. You want to support my claim. This has to be my HA. Okay? Now, you're a trade school person. You don't agree with going to college. No, everybody doesn't have to go to college. You can make $40,000 and you could work for the sanitation department. You just do a lot of overtime. You can make $40,000 and you can work on the trains at the train station and work on trains or equipment. You can be a heavy equipment operator and make a ton more money than that if you didn't go to college. So now I want to reject that claim. The college person is still making this claim, but I want to reject it. What will the claim say? greater than or equal to. So now he makes his claim greater than or equal to, and I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. I think you could be better off if you didn't go to college. So that's all we're saying is who's making this claim, who's supporting this. When we go to test this,
So you're looking at it from angles?
you're looking at it on the flip side of the coin, that's all. Flip side of the coin. When you go to test these things, you're going to see, let me see if I can just pull one up. Let's see if we can pull one in here. I'm going to just jump ahead for a second. Let me look for a problem here. I'm trying to find like a simple one. They changed these off from last year and they made them kind of, okay, here's a good one. Employees at a construction and mining company claim that the mean salary of their mechanical engineers is less than that of its competitors, which is $68,000. Oddly, shouldn't that company claim that it is more than somebody else's? Who's making the claim from this company? Employees. So what do you think they're doing about why are they making this claim? Are they liking their salary? Oh no, they're complaining about their salary. I'm an employee and I say my friend works for this other company and they make much more than me. So I go to my company, the head of my company, and I say, we make less than $68,000 that they do. From an employee's point of view, that's what we're looking for. That's what our claim is. Now, the manager might say, we make $68,000 or more. We say, oh, we definitely reject your claim because now we want to say that is so not true. So we're going to prove him wrong and reject his claim. He's obviously not going to say we make less than or equal to. He was going to say we make greater than or equal to. We make at least that and more. So it depends who's making this claim. If it's you and you're claiming you're not making enough money, you're going to go with the less than, and people are going to support you. If it's the management and you want to go against what they're saying, they're never going to say yes, you make less than somebody else. They're going to say you make at least that much. So that's where the at least that most comes in.
Someone says they'll be there in like 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, kind of the same thing. You say, oh no, that's never going to happen. So yeah. So it depends on who's making the statement and who's testing this. You can make a statement with this and you can agree with him. You can agree, yeah, we make less as a manager. I'm an employee and I agree, yeah, we make less. I want to support that claim and then turn around and say, see, I told you we make less than them. So it depends which way you want to set this up. But this is the type of thing we're going to look through. We're going to look at. Remember, your claims are made for a population. Your samples are what you're testing against the population with. You have no way to test the whole population. So you go in and test your sample. That's where we get our sample statistics from. That's where we get our p-vals from. And we test against the population. And we're going to use those charts. I'm going to make some charts and put them around the room so that you guys will have access to them. So what I want you to try for now. How many days was this? 40 days. Okay, the mean incubation period. This is what the scientist claims. Is it the HO or the HA? What's the HO? Now, you're going to need your table in front of you to do this. And I'm going to give you a printout of your table as well. But for now, your table is on page 356. So follow page 356. So if I now, my claim is my HA. I'm sorry I don't have it here. Oh yeah, I do have it. Hang on. Hang on one second.
When they say no, how is this? They're talking about the claim?
No is the HO.
No?
No is the HO. Okay, let me rewrite this. We said your mean was. Am I off again? Hey, come on. I can't. Guys, give me your attention a second. I can't write on this for some reason. Not like Guys, come on. Alright, I'm writing it over here. The mean is less than 40 days. We said this is the HA. The HO is greater than 40 days. This is the claim. Now, if you're rejecting, you do all your tests. I need you to listen real carefully. If you're rejecting the HO, watch up here. This is what I want you to think in your head. Reject the HO, that means I don't think that it's this. It's not this, right? If I rejected this, that means I like this statement. We don't use that verbally, but we say in our minds, if we reject this, then we take this one. Then we follow your claim now. Your claim is your HA. You rejected your HO. We start like this. There is enough evidence to support the claim that the incubation period for swan eggs is less than 40 days. We use the word support because the HA was the claim. In your mind, I still want you to think back, like, do I take this one or not take this one? Because then it will make sense when we say support or do not support.
That's what you're even saying.
This is how you're going to interpret your decision.
I know, but it says this question tells us to reject HO.
Okay, yes. So we reject your HO. So in your mind, you come over here and you say HO is greater than or equal to 40. I'm rejecting this. If it's not this, doesn't it have to be this one? So aren't I going to have to agree with this? So now when I follow my chart, don't I agree with it? Aren't I supporting the claim? Now, watch what happens if I fail to reject HO. Now this is what I want you to think. In your mind, you come to your HO. We only test your HO. I failed to reject this. If I fail to reject this, don't I have to agree with this? So if I agree with this one, it can't possibly be that one. So if I agree with this, I'm going to have to not support that guy. So now when I come to my chart, I claim it's my HA, and I fail to reject my HO, I don't have enough evidence to support the claim that the incubation was less than 40 days. Notice we don't say it's false, it's wrong, I disagree. We just use those words. And I am going to be really tight about using those words. Those exact words. It's very important that you use, especially reject, support. That's why we set up the HO, the HA. When we want to say reject, when we want to say support.
There is enough evidence to support the claim.
That we did both. We did the first part where we rejected HO, where we supported the claim. We did the second part where we failed to reject HO, and we did not have enough evidence to support the claim.
When you know to fail to reject it.
We're going to start testing that on Monday. You don't know right now, but the problem is just telling you what if you rejected HO? What if you failed to reject HO? How would you interpret this? What would you use this chart to help you say? That's what it's asking you. When we do this, I'm going to give you a copy of the chart to keep in your notebook. I'll give you a copy of the chart when you take a test, because I feel it's really important.